Howdy folks, welcome back to the shed on this rather sunny and very nice Sunday afternoon. Let's see, anybody in yet? No, not quite. What are we running today? Fleischmann. We've got a Fleischmann class 78 over yonder with some period stock, which is Deutsche Reichsbahn. Somebody mentioned, hello Digger, nice to see you. Somebody mentioned yesterday that they wanted to see a bit of some of the trains that might have been in the Great Escape or of that era. So I pulled out the Fleischmann class 78, which is the reason I got it. And there's Mum and Son. Hi, Tammy and Ray. Nice to see you. So behind yonder is a Fleischmann class 78 with the period 1930 stock behind it with the eagle on it. Typical German stuff at the time, green. All the locomotives are black and red, pretty much as they are today. Particularly the steamers. There's Paul. Hello, Paul. Nice to see you. So, yeah. For those of you that haven't seen it, I'll just... there's Model Railway Shed Dino. Hello, Dino. Yes, quite bright. Not much breeze around. Pretty much what it was like yesterday. There's Ben. Hello, Ben. Nice to see you. So running today is Fleischmann class 78 behind me now, and sort of period stock 1930s, sort of wartime Germany type of thing. Well, that's what they had at the time in, where did I get that? Beatties in Holborn, which is a long time ago. Hello, Connie. Nice to see you. And Kyle Stevens. Hello. So somebody mentioned in, I think it was Rob and Grace's live stream, and Sean, hello Sean, that they wanted to see something that might have been in the Great Escape. And that's where I got the idea for this train that's coming along yonder any second now. Class 78, which is a 462 tank engine, and pulling a rake of period coaches of the time. And there is even like a little brake or caboose on the back, which does have an actual little light in it. So at the time in the 70s, 80s, it was pretty good stuff. It's pretty obvious that class 78 has got their sort of Ringfield motor in it. I'm not sure what's going on the other track. You'll see it in a second. That's my 9F. And I'm not sure which is giving trouble, which track is giving trouble. I did a bit of soldering work last week, and I'm not 100% sure that everything's correct with that. So what I'll do, I'll stop the 9F there, and we'll see if the other train does any stuttering at all. Yes, it's a bit noisy, but it's of its age. Fleischmann stuff back then, it's pretty good stuff. It was the best in the world in its day. And yeah, this is, I know it's pretty funky for me, but it looks pretty good. And I can't remember the name of the guy last night who wanted to see the Great Escape stuff. So I cobbled it together quick. In fact, that's what I did back in the day. Once I got like a video of the Great Escape, and I could actually zero in, freeze frame, stop it, look at the locomotive and find out what the hell it was. And it turned out it was a class 78, like this one. So it's of a period where it really would have been at work during the wartime, which was what 1944, and the various stock that went with it. And I remember it being very expensive at the time. I think that engine. Let's see if I. Well, here's the box. The boxes sort of look like this. Flashman. There is a Beatties sign on it, but being an idiot, I've taken the. Oh, no, I didn't. There. I don't know if you can see that or not. That is £133. Now we're talking. When did I buy this? I must have just been at work. So we're talking 1980, 83, 84, maybe even before that. And £133 in Beatties, that was a lot of money. And the coaches weren't cheap either. It was a shed load back then, I can assure you, Ben. That was sort of arm and a leg stuff. And I know I must have really wanted it to have forked out that kind of money. I don't know if any of you sort of heard in the background, but I do have my guitar. Let's clean that up a bit. In the background. Oh, I won't treat you to too much of that because I'm really out of practice. But the guitar, I'll show you what it is. It's not a genuine Fender Stratocaster, but it's that. It's a Hohner Professional ST57 with a maple fingerboard, standard 3 pickups on there that you see, standard tremolo. In fact, it's got a better tremolo because it works on a 2-point system, which means it's got a screw on that side and a screw on that side and a whole lot pivots on that. This has been professionally set up for me by a local luthier, Nick, in the next town, and he's done a superb job. And even the tremolo, which I couldn't stabilize before, is working perfectly. So and he put a brand new nut on there for me. The nut is this little critter up here, and that is all important to the tuning of your guitar. Well, what happened, I picked it up and everything I tried to play was coming out in Dutch. So I thought, I'm going to need a little more practice. And Carl Stevens had a guitar like that. Yeah. You probably had a genuine Fender Stratocaster, but yeah, dueling banjos. Yeah, I was a dope with a banjo. But yeah, I noodle around on it, and yeah, it's a very good copy of a Fender. In fact, they very often, people like Fender and Gibson lose the plot, and you'll have the Japanese or the South Koreans, Korean in this case, that's South Korea that was made. They go back to the original specs and they look at it. They do a near copy so they don't get done for copyright. So if you look at the headstock on that, it doesn't look like a Stratocaster headstock, which is almost like a trademark for them. And they showed the big boys how to do it. And that's a 1980s odd guitar. There's Flymo Chairman. Greetings. How nice to see you. Yeah, pretty good. The Class 78 I'm running today, in fact, I'll show you that in a couple of minutes. Me waffling. Yeah, play a tune. Yeah, I sort of tried, and then I thought, I'm out of practice. because I haven't picked it up in about a month. There's wasps and stuff around today. Obviously, the weather has come out, and so have all the insects with it. So, yeah, that's the way of things. Right, let me just adjust my camera, and then you'll be able to see. Right. That's too close. Here comes the Class 78. That's not such a good view, is it? What I'll do, in that case, I'll revert to the usual one on the other side. Or shall I? I'll tell you what, let's try something different. I'll go round the other way, and I'll pop you there, and you should, in theory, how about a bit further? There we go. You should see that come round the bend. Here she comes, a little slower. And there's your period 1930s Deutsche Reichsbahn coaches type of thing. There's Colin's engaged. Hello, Colin. Nice to see you, mate. I'm the one that's tired out because I did a model flying competition yesterday. I sort of got shanghaied into it by an old friend of mine. I'd more or less given up on model flying because it was dying in front of my eyes, and I thought, but obviously my dear friend's got leukemia, which I don't think is at a serious enough stage that they want to treat it with chemo or anything like that at the moment, but it's still debilitating. And he said, will you come along and fly proxy for me? And I said, yeah, sure. As you do. That's what friends do. So let's have a bit more speed. And then I'll just slow it down as it comes into view. Here we go. So there's your Class 78. I'll try and get a bit of a run by here. And it sort of looks like that. That's about as slow as I can get it. It's a 464 wheel arrangement. Well, it does sound a bit clockwork, but you've got to remember this was 1970s, 1980s Fleischmann. Oh, Sean's off to cut the grass. And there's a sort of baggage van. And there's a little sort of four-wheel coach there. I'm not sure that's of the right era. It's a slightly different colour. And the sort of caboose up the back. Yes, I was doing some model flying yesterday, and I came second. Let me just focus you back a minute. Right, here we go. It's this is one of what I was flying yesterday, which is for those of you who know a little bit about hot jocks and jet machines. This is an F-106 Delta Dart, Convair Delta Dart, and it is rocket propelled. And as you can see, one of the motors gave up and scorched a great big hole underneath. Yeah. And that's the thing with rocket motors. These are one shot. Let me just pull the motor out for you. It's held in by a little bit of metal. That's what the motor looks like. It's like a refined firework, but instead of giving you loads and loads of power for for about a second, this gives you 15 to 20 seconds of power, of which the power is about half an ounce to an ounce of thrust. So it's not much. It wouldn't pull the skin off a rice pudding. But on a very lightweight model like this, which weighs, 20 grams, you can get stratospheric flights on it. And we often do. So yeah, it's a bit of fun. And for my troubles, that's what I got from it. The Peterborough Model Flying Club, the Flying Aces. What do they call it? The Flying Aces Nationals 2023 Silver Award for Jet Profile Scale, which is what this is. It's a profile. So it's not a full fat model, which has got a great big body on it and great big thick wings, and it looks exactly like the real thing. This is a very slimmed down version. So yeah, there it is. Ferry Meadows, Peterborough, 2nd of September 2023. There it is. Read it and wait, boys and girls. Read it and wait. So yeah, I'm very proud of that. But as I say, I was flying by proxy. Who we got come in? Yeah. Oh, there's Delft Junction. Hello, Pete. There's the certificate and the offending model that I was flying yesterday. F106 Delta Dart. In fact, I called it an F102 Delta Dagger, but they're very, very similar, and they look very much the same. But and I see Mr. Anthony Dodge is in the house. Yeah, you may well recognise that, Anthony. US Air Force, and got me the silver award. So, mwah. Yeah, good stuff. So yes, let's position you back on the Fleischmann. Oh, super duper. There we go. A little bit of German for you. It's still not very good. It's quite bright outside, and it's interfering with the white balance, I think. Let's revert to the usual spot. That should be a little better. So as it comes around, I should be able to see it in a little more detail. How are you, Anthony? It's if you've got weather like this, then it must be yeah, quite hot. But yeah, so I did a bit of flying yesterday, and that was good fun. Here comes, let me just speed that up a bit so it comes around a little faster. As I say, the Fleischmann is a bit noisy, but if it was of its day back in the late 70s, early 80s, it's a superb model. Don't get me wrong, it's superb. And the coaches are just to die for. No lighting in them, but that doesn't detract from the fact that they're really, really good scale models. Yeah, the heat wave. Yeah, I know, Anthony. There's been a high pressure zone sitting right over. I think it's literally the Midwest, and I know that's been causing scorching heat out there. We haven't had much of that. I think this is the first 2 days that we've had relatively good sunshine, and for model flying yesterday, it was ideal. Just a light breeze, and they did forecast 22 degrees, but it was definitely more than that. I'll just stop that for a moment, and I'll get the 9F working, which is coming the other way. But this one's been playing silly buggers, and I'm not sure if it's something I did with the soldering or not. Maybe it would have helped if I'd have cleaned the track. Here's the 9F I put back together after it had Mazak rot. The tender was the worst thing of the lot, and it was absolutely smashed to pieces. With a little goods train behind it. I just want to see what this does. It's not stopping and starting, but I'm not sure if it's the fault of the engine or the track. So I'm just a little spaced out there, but Did I see Hi has arrived? H&S Express Model N scale. Yes, that's Hi. Hello, Hi. Just thought I'd better show you this. This is something you probably recognise. But this one's a Hona Professional ST57. They did a lovely job on the fingerboard with the maple, and obviously they've glossed it. So, see, I just got a speed up then on the 9F, which I find really strange. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop you back over there, and as he's a sick puppy, I'm going to get the Class 78 back into action and get it wound up. And you should hear him come past any second now. I'll just pop that a little further over. There you go, a Class 78. That's the that's really my German contingent. I've got a few others, but this is probably the best of the bunch. And their Profi couplings on there are really, really good. The close coupling is absolutely fabulous. I'll show you as it goes around. Anthony will be familiar with this because a lot of the Roco and Markling couplings are very, very similar. So here we go. If you check out, there's really not much gap between those. There's not much going around the corners. And then when it gets back on the straight, everything closes up. I mean, I've got generous corners, but when it gets back on the straight, like there, yeah, you could just about get a cigarette paper in there. Absolutely fabulous, with a little light on at the back. And it's even good today. There's not much wrong with Fleischmann. There really isn't. And as I say, this is the nearest thing I can get to one of the trains that was in Neustadt in the film The Great Escape. Obviously, they used the term Newtown when I can't remember exactly where The Great Escape was. I know it's now in Poland. The name will come to me. Sorry, got to be back ASAP. Okay, Digger. Yeah, the only thing I found picking up the guitar today is that I'm totally out of practice. Having not picked it up in 4 or 5 weeks, it is amazing how quickly your fingers fall apart and your coordination goes, and you think, "Oh my God, am I really this bad?" But I suppose if you play every day, yeah, you just pick up where you left off. But oh boy, I picked it up today, and and there's Martin. Hello there. There's a little bit of Fleischmann for you. Yeah, the carriages are pretty good. When I went back and looked at The Great Escape, there's a lot of 4-wheel and 6-wheel carriages on there, and I didn't realise that at the time. And I went for bogie carriages because of their sheer size. But when you watch the film, a lot of them are the 4-wheel and 6-wheel coaches similar to what Hornby have been producing and Hattons, only obviously the German version. Anthony would probably know more about these, and particularly somebody like Ivo. But of course, there was nobody to guide me at the time, and I grabbed whatever was of the period, sort of mid 30s right through the wartime, Deutsche Reichsbahn, and I did the best I could. So as a train, it's green, it's black, and it's red, which I suppose is what it should be. They're all Fleischmann. The boxes of which look like this. Fleischmann 5080, that's one of them. They come in a long box like that. I mean, really, really good. These have lasted since the 70s, 80s. And they're really fantastic, really. And all you do is just give the top a pull and off it comes. The plastic hasn't degraded over time. Really, really good. You could say Fleischmann nailed it. Unfortunately, I took the price off of this, which is a bit stupid. I'll look at some of the others and see if they've got a price on them. Yeah, Beatty's, 20 quid. So if you're thinking 20 quid back in the 80s, that was a fantastic amount of money, considering the Hornby coaches were probably £6 at the time. So that's over 3 times the price, but you get 3 times the value because it's obviously German and it's Fleischmann. Ooh. So Martin, I gather it's taken you a week to recover from your live stream, which was a lot of fun, by the way. Really enjoyed that. Yeah, I don't recall seeing many German locomotives in anything but black and red. I mean, somebody could probably correct me here, but apart from the named trains type of thing, I mean, obviously Anthony was running like a Prussian blue locomotive and a train decked out. But a lot of their freight engines, things like that, were all black and red, as far as I know. And, the German vehicles are very utilitarian and all of the pipes are hanging on the outside. Very much like the American style of engine. Sorry to hear that Flymo last week. I was not able to play, but we'll try again this week. Oh, Flymo, what's gone on? Hangover from the cider that killed me for a few days. Yeah, you want to stay away from that stuff, mate. I think stick to the strong coffee. I need to practice more. Yeah, the same here, Hi. Obviously, I'm going to have to do some work on the layout, particularly centered around that 9F, because I'm not sure everything is hunky-dory. I did notice one of the switches was hanging off of one of my points this morning, which is quite serious, actually, because that is what controls the frog polarity. So I've sort of pushed it back on, but it needs obviously a little bit of glue to keep it there and keep it humble. Just the failing guitar practice, yeah. It's one of those things where you think, oh, I can pick it up and take off exactly where I left off. It's like putting on an old glove. No, it isn't. And there's Scott Rails. Hello, Scott Rails. Another day of attempting to do some scenery. Yeah, just stick at it, Scott. Just It's like anything. You want to play guitar, practice, 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 practice. I know it gets expensive, particularly with things like scenery, because none of it's just cheap. But yeah, like riding a bike. But it's not quite like riding a bike, is it? Your balance is with you all the time, otherwise you wouldn't walk. But playing the guitar where you've got your two hands are doing completely different things. One's patting your stomach and the other one's stroking your head, type of thing. I suppose it's more like playing drums. But yeah, once you get out of practice, it'll kill your muscles as soon as you stop and then start again. Anyway, the drink of choice today, and Paul is building two guitars. Pray, what guitars are these, Paul? Give us an insight. Dino's got a long-term health condition, and sometimes the pain gets too much. I'm sorry to hear that, Dino. Well, you've obviously got an ability to cut through it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing any videos at all. So I'm grateful that you've got the fortitude to cut it out and really press on and get anything done at all. I mean, I'll take my hat off to you, mate. Built a lap steel and a Telecaster a few years ago. Formaggio, an electric bass, and two older acoustics. One is a Suzuki violin company from 1955. Yes, Japanese. They are very, very good. Did I make that fence by hand? Yes, I did, Scott. Yeah, they're all individual wooden pieces with, I think it was laser cut. And they laser done the holes as well. But threading all that wire through, even at HO00 gauge, was an absolute pain in the buttock. And I know Sean tried it in N scale, and it was just too much. Am I right, Sean? Yeah. Yeah, no problems, Dino. If ever you want to talk about it, mate, you know where I am. Shaky hands shed model railways. Howdy dudes and dudettes. That's a good greeting. There's Grace. Hello, Grace. Hope everyone's well. Instead of building the barbecue this time, we've got the charcoal on. Oh, well. Well, I beat you to it today, Grace, because I got the George Foreman out. I got the smoked mackerel out. I did two for me and one for Blondie. And I tell you, she loved it so much that I don't think it hit the sides, went straight down her ravenous gullet, and then she was pouncing off of some of mine. So yeah, I think they were honey flavoured smoked mackerel out of Sainsbury's. Not very expensive, but boy, they were tasty. Yeah, well, good luck with that, Grace. Enjoy yourself. The weather's here, so just enjoy it while we got it. You've got enough to feed the 5,000. Right, okay. That's good. Nom, nom, nom. Yes. Yeah. In fact, we took Blondie flying, obviously, yesterday for the first time. And she loved it. But she was absolutely waxed last night. In fact, she was so tired that I rattled the crisp packet late on. and she ignored it. She must have been absolutely zonked. Yeah, it was a busy day. A lot of competitions. Trying to find a little bit of shelter out of the sun as well, because I did the classic. I just wore a t-shirt, went out there. I did have my baseball cap with me, but nothing covering my arms, and of course my neck caught the sun as well. And of course it was hotter than the Met Office said it was going to be. So yeah, I think we all cooked a bit, and I think poor Blondie was no exception. But there's lots of trees around on the periphery of the flying field, so she could actually get a bit of shelter. And Richard was doing the looking after. Yeah, it did. Yeah, I'll show you the full extent of it, Martin. Right, let's just give you a little tour. Well, look at those coaches. Couldn't fit a fag paper through there. Right, it starts here, the fence. So I hope I'm sort of in focus. Yes, I am. Right, and then it extends all the way around there and stops right there where it hits the dry stone wall. So from there, it's dry stone wall up to the signal, which is over there. I hope you can see that. Yes, you can. And then it starts literally at that signal again, goes round by the clay dry, round there, right to there. And I've used a bit of dry stone walling again just to finish it off. But it was a pain. It took an awful long time, and you've got to thread those wires through without a snag. Otherwise, it just snaps them clean. Here's the TMD area with its network rail crew. There is a little switch underneath which I can toggle, which turns the lights on right there. Inside the shed, there's on the same circuit. There's a little welder in there, welding away like that. And these are little LED ones. I mean, I don't put them on that much because I don't go a great deal on the lights, really. Signal box over there. There's the big station, roughly modelled on Great Central Railway. The 9F, which I've just put back together with its little mixed goods train. Let's see, the usual ephemera up on the walls, a piece of rail, engineering supervisor's band, some 10 amp fuses that came out of the location cabinets. The old clock, it says 80 degrees in here, and I tend to agree with that, at 63% humidity. And there's the usual other stuff, Southern Lines, Union Pacific. And we're back to sort of this area. So if I pop you along there somewhere, you should be able to see the 78 as it comes roaring through. Sorry about the shaky hands camera, but well, there you go. It's just one of those things. There goes the 78. Sleepless and unsettled. I think the back scenes were done by ID scenes, and they're just the plain paper ones. You could either use those, or you could go for the sticky backed vinyl ones. And considering where I am in a shed that gets a bit damp, I should have went for the sticky back vinyl ones. The trouble is, you're then putting that on hardboard at the back, which again is liable to expand and contract. So will you ever win? I don't know. And yeah, like with all back scenes, unless you can do them away from the layout and then install them, they're difficult to do. Yeah, don't tell me about age. Today it really did catch up with me. All my exertions yesterday, chasing after model aeroplanes, which being free flight, are liable to go anywhere downwind. You launch them into the wind, and then invariably they'll turn and end up going downwind. If they went too far downwind, they'd end up in a lake in Peterborough, and a couple of them did. I have no train memorabilia, just a DB RailNet map from 2003 from an old DB office. That may be something you can work on a later trip to Germany. There must be loads of railway ephemera in Germany, which must be up for grabs. Probably expensive, but things like train lamps, that kind of jazz. I would have thought that was right up your street, Anthony. But there's no telling, is there? Some like the ephemera and some don't. Oh, highs off. There's probably things to do. Hooper focus. All right. I'm totally hooper focus. No train mirror. A DB RailNet map from 2003. That's amazing. You think 2003 and we've just got through the millennium. That's 20 years ago. Amazing, isn't it? How time flies. Battery going low on the laptop. Where the hell is the power supply thing? Yeah. Eek! Yeah, you only realise this when the balloon goes up. Soak cardboard first, let it dry, then it won't expand or shrink. That's interesting, Colin. Bear in mind, I got a feeling that the hardboard that I used is faced. I think this hardboard over here, which I think the Americans call masonite, I think that is faced. Yes, it's white-faced hardboard. So in theory, all of the shrinking stuff should be going on behind, leaving the sort of melamine facing to be sort of fairly perfect, I would have thought. Because if that stuff expanded, it would crack. There's no doubt about it. Shake your hands. I'm an artist, so I'll be painting my own back scene as I'm painting a real life place. Yeah, great idea. If you've got those kind of skills, fabulous. I've got nothing but envy there because I'm not sure that's something I could even practice. I think if you haven't got the talent, then there's no amount of practice that's going to get you there. Signs and maps would do me. Would love a Delmenhorst arrival and departures chart like you see posted in the stations at the platforms. Can't you talk them into it, Anthony? Just go and have a chat with the station staff. A lot of them have signs that have been put away in side rooms and sort of dusty attics. And I'm sure if you asked them, they'd be bound to have some kind of piece of ephemera that would be nice to keep on the wall. I know you don't like to ask, but I can't think of any other way around it. Unless, of course, it hits eBay. And that's the other thing. Talking of eBay, there's Clive. Hello, Clive. Yes, I've got a feeling as this Class 78 is slowing down and speeding up a bit, I've got a feeling I'm going to have to do a little bit of track work. I'm going to have to go around with the meter and find out what I've got and where. I mean, it's working, but when things start to speed up and slow down, there's a couple of things that can be. It can be dirty track, which is a possibility, or poor continuity. So, well, that seems to be fairly steady at the moment. That's just gone across a part which is notorious for being a little light on juice. So that's not bad, I suppose. The soldering that I did is in the area you're looking at. So literally where we saw the fence, all of that area there, I resoldered to the track. I'm just hoping I got my fuse wire correct. I think I did. Otherwise, there's no way it would work. Right, what have we got? Oh, we've got You're Resisting eBay this week. Big show coming up next week where I can buy more trains but cheaper. Great. Saturday, the DB folks closed the office, so no one to ask. Best chance would be DB HQ in Berlin, and I haven't been to Berlin since I got into the hobby. Well, you see, Anthony, there's an opening for you. Using your inimitable charm, I am sure you could charm the birds from the trees. Yeah. Flymo, still going since yesterday. I too was in the garden yesterday evening for a bit. I'll catch up soon. Okay. John James sees on at 7 p.m. If you don't mind me mentioning it, Andy. No, not at all. Very clever man, John James. For those of you who don't know, he works at Digi Trains and does a lot of their DCC sound installs. Yeah, very clever man. Very jovial. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. Did I say I'm going to Getz? Yes, I am, on the Sunday. Saturday, I'll be travelling. Sunday, I'll be at Getz. Now, on the Saturday at Getz, Milton Keynes Dons are playing at home on that Saturday, which I think is that the 14th? So as an aside from that, I think the car park for that is going to be shut to people who are attending the Getz, and you'll be directed somewhere else to park. And I've got a feeling that somewhere else is either a hotel or something, and I think it's some distance away. I think they've even put on a free bus to transfer the punters. I mean, it doesn't matter to Anthony too much because he's staying at the hotel on site. Wouldn't it be funny if your hotel window looked straight out across the football ground? You'll have to check that one out, Anthony, because you may be able to watch the match for nothing from your hotel room window. That would be good. Yeah, that's what we're doing Sunday. Yeah, Sunday is normal practice. You can park on site, and there's ample parking there. Yeah, somebody mentioned that it was either on a live stream or a video, or I've just seen it written down, because I think the actual organisers had to put something out. That was it. I got an email from the organisers saying if you're going on the Saturday and you don't fancy parking a mile away, your tickets will be good for Sunday. So if you decide not to go on Saturday because MK Dons are playing at home next door, you can go on Sunday. So for all those in that predicament, fear not. You can keep your ticket and it'll be valid for the next day. Got the Premier Inn for 3 nights. Yeah, Premier Inn's good. Stayed in a lot of those. Nice and clean. Pretty basic, but that's all you need. It's a great way of getting around fairly cheaply. Charge for viewers, footy and comfy seat. Yeah. Been soldering LEDs, resistors into a future project video and boxing in to stop light bleed. Oh, I wish somebody had told Holdy that. Oh, I've mentioned that naughty word again. They've not emailed me. Oh, okay. Well, that still stands, Clive, but then I believe you're staying on site as well, are you not? If anybody hears any voices in the background, it's probably my neighbours over the back who are they're obviously working down by the bottom of their garden. So, yeah, there's a little bit of spillover, I'm afraid. Right, well, there's obviously nothing I can do about it, so I'm going to get I'll get the 9F running as well. It may be a little sporadic. It might sort of speed up and slow down, but I'm not sure that's going to matter too much. And I will investigate over the next week, and I'll see if I can get it all sorted. Here comes the 9F. I don't think I made a bad fist of that, considering it was crumbly. Yeah, bought the VIP weekend ticket, whatever extras that gets. Oh, great. Yeah, I think that gives you a VIP area and first dibs at various things. So, yeah, I'll look into that a little more, Clive, and see exactly what you do get. Yeah, the big yellow thing's in the sky here, and it might get hot, someone said. What's that again? I believe it's called the sun. Now that's speeded up again and slowed down again. And speeded up again. So I'm at a loss for that one. There's obviously something not quite right. So I think I'll spend the next week going over the track and making sure that everything's hunky-dory. And I'll give it a jolly good cleaning as well. Sure everything's smooth at the back here. You just never know. Yeah, it could be just a loose connection somewhere. But I will get to the bottom of it. Anyway, for those of you who haven't seen it already, there's my one of my guitars. Yeehaw! With its lovely gloss fingerboard. And there's the F106, which I flew yesterday with a little certificate I got with it. So my cup runneth over. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of work because that 9F is speeding up, slowing down at various bits. And I'm not sure it's the 9F that's doing that. I think it might be track related. So I'm obviously going to do some work on that. And that being said, I'm now going to wind this up and let everybody enjoy their Sunday. I think Dave at Swindon Junction is probably coming up fairly soon. Andy, Joyce expects you to be ready to play. Always ready to play. I don't think I'll bring any rocket-powered aeroplanes with me because that might be a little embarrassing and expensive if we set fire to an EV and it goes roof. Yes. Thank you all for coming. Now the dog is just sticking her head in the door, so let me just discourage her. Shove off. You stay there, and I will see you all next week. And don't do anything I wouldn't do, and enjoy the sunny weather while we've got it. So adios, folks, and I'll catch you all soon.